What's going on, guys, and welcome to your third tutorial on JavaScript. In this video we're going to cover two things: statements and comments in JavaScript. But before we go anywhere, I just want to show you that starting from now on in these videos, what I'm going to do I'm sorry, I'm just talking like a real moron, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work in our first tutorial JS file that we have created, because you can see that all the script I'm going to be adding is going to be added to the page through the script tags, because I have created this external. I have linked the first tutorial JS to my HTML file. So in order to actually make my text, make my JavaScript to appear bigger, because I think that's going to benefit for anybody who's watching, especially the ones on a phone. So in order to make my fonts and everything bigger, I actually going to be working in this file all the time, and you can see over here is going to be our output. So whatever we're going to be writing over here, and I'm not probably going to go back to our HTML file. Now let's talk about statements in JavaScript. And statements actually are one of the most important, well, actually the most important thing is, because the statements are a way for you to tell the program, or the computer actually, because you're creating a program, but to tell the computer or tell the browser what do you want them to do. Because it's not like you can just scream at them in English or in French or in Russian and they for some reason are going to start doing that. You need to tell them specifically, listen, I want to do this or I want to do that. So similar thing would be if you think about the cookbook or about the manual. If you probably have read the manual, right? So you know how it goes in the manual, and they say, well, first of all, open the box, then look inside the box, then get the IKEA screwdriver, and then screw the actual table together, right? So they wouldn't tell you screw the table together and then open the box. It wouldn't make sense. So the same goes with the statements. Statements allow you to create a program with which you're actually telling the browser what to do, telling the computer what to do. So the way you would write a JavaScript statement, you would need to write the statement, and then whenever you want to finish the statement, the same as like how we work with CSS, you would actually need to place a semicolon over here. So remember the same thing. In CSS, we set the property, and then we set the value, and then once we were done with that, when we wanted a new property, we actually put a semicolon. Now I can write another statement right behind this semicolon over here. But since my screen is actually zoomed in, you can see that it's starting a new line anyway. But the point is, you can actually put as many statements as you want along one line. However, the document gets very messy very fast. So the common practice is actually starting all your statements in a new line, because that's much more easier to read and actually to manage your code. So now you can see that I have two document write hello. And we haven't covered these statements so far, but we will. So don't worry about it. Just follow a little bit along, and we're going to resolve it pretty quickly. So we have two document writes hello. So the way the JavaScript reads the actual statements is top down. So I'm going to add a line break, and I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit so it's in one line, and maybe a little bit more. But I'm going to add two line breaks, and you remember them from HTML. But we will cover them separately for the JavaScript and all that good stuff. But now I have two document writes, and I'm going to write here Bobby, and I'm going to copy them. So let's say we're going to put world, and then I'm going to put Johnny, because I want to show you how the JavaScript is reading the file top down. So I save this, or I can just go in file to show you, but I'm actually doing the quick saves. And let's refresh the page, and you can see how the browser is reading it. It's starting with hello, which was over here, and then it went Bobby, world, Johnny, world. So whatever you write on a top is actually the program is going to read it from the top down. So make sure whatever we're going to be writing, or actually the first thing we want up here is going to be on top, and whatever we want next, we would write next. Now that we have covered the statements, let's also cover the comments, because in most cases they go hand in hand. So the comments are pretty similar to what we have in HTML. They're very useful if you want to explain to your code, whether it's to yourself or whether it's going to be to somebody else. I mean, with this simple file where you're just writing document hello, hello, yeah, it's very simple. You obviously don't need any kind of comments. But once the code actually gets really messy, it's very, very useful to have comments. And the way you create a single line comment, you would put 2 forward slashes, and you can see over here right away how they appear gray. So I can write whatever I want. So in here, to let's say explain this line, I would say write hello, and that's it. And I would create a new comment, and it would explain what's happening. So what we need to remember about the single line comment is that it is in, if you want, whatever you were going to write on the next line is actually going to appear as a statement. So if I want to write document write, and I would put over here in here I would put, let's say, buy, right? Because I want to buy something. So let's save this. Let's refresh, and you can see buy hello. And I didn't add the line break. That's why it's not over here. And let's refresh. No, I didn't save it. And let's refresh, and you can see buy and hello. So the single line comment obviously works only for one single line. And the way you add it is 2 forward slashes. Now, you can also create a multi-line comment. And then you would put here a forward slash. Then you would put a star. And then I would write here, this is a multi-line comment. Let's start a new line. So I would write over here star, and I would forward slash. And you saw as I was working, actually the whole thing was turning gray. And the reason for that is you can actually use a multi-line comment if you don't want some code to run. Let's say you would want to test out only buy and hello, because for some reason you thought that there would be something wrong with that. Again, that would be the case if you have long lines of code. But let's say that I would cut this over here, and then I wouldn't want these two, Bobby and world, to appear. So I would paste it over here. And now you can see that I save this and I refresh, and you can see that the Bobby and world are gone. You can see bye, hello, Johnny, world, war. So this is how you could also use a multi-line comment if you're testing a couple of things, let's say 2 functions, which we're going to cover later. You could actually use these multi-line comments if you don't want some statement to run, but you want to test one out. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.